Trade Zero never fails. I've been using it since E-Trade kicked me off.
Can I hit the bang bang first?
Hit the bang bang.
All right, bang bang. Welcome to the Dave Portnoy Show with Eddie and Company, presented by Trade Zero.
Can I do it now? Trade Zero. I don't have to read. So you just tell me if there's like offers and whatnot.
You would have wanted this read. Let me just say that. But
I know. I know it so well.
Okay.
I've used the platform since I switched from E-Trade. E-Trade uses a crash. This never crashes. They fight for you. It does cost a little. They may have a deal to do that, but you should. If you actually are using it, like, all right, I look right now. What do we got? Penn. It's up 6.5% today. You get in on that, it's at 123. I told you to get it at 4, but I'm not a financial advisor. You'd be up $1 bazillion if you had Trade Zero buying it. So, I was up. What am I up today? 308 grand on Trade Zero. That's Trade Zero who's doing that, Eddie. Never crashes. E-Trade, you probably can't get on. It's a good platform. Get used to the flickering lights. You can change the flickering lights. I did that. Trade Zero, and what do they do? 3 months free? Is that their...
If you sign up for Trade Zero through tradezero.us/Dave, you're going to get 3 months of pro trading package for free, which is $177 in value.
That's a value.
Initial account minimum is $2,500. But you know what? You know what you didn't have here, and if you would have had, if you would have read the damn read?
What?
In honor of Dave launching his new ETF, Trade Zero is now giving all users 1 free Buzz share. Huh.
So that's like $25.
But still, it's still a fucking additive. It's still a perk that devolves you directly that you didn't even want to read.
I don't like that.
Why?
4 shares.
It should be 4 shares?
I'm going to talk to those people. They're going to give, the next time we do this, it's 4 shares. You'll have a week to do it. 4 free shares.
And if not?
1 share. Listen, let's not be cheap. I tell to our salespeople all the time, I'm going to tell Trade Zero. You get 4 free shares. You sign up. 4 free shares. What's the sign up? What do you have to do?
You have to go to tradezero.us/Dave.
You're going to get 4 free shares next week. We're not this week because we got to clear it. They're going to give you 4 free shares.
Okay.
For 1 share, $25. That and a cup of coffee won't fucking get you across the street. 4 shares.
All right.
4 shares or bust.
Tune in next week to see what happens. Don't just trade
4
Zero.
4 shares or bust.
4 shares or bust. Don't just trade Zero. Dave, right off the top, we're going to do an interview. We don't typically do interviews, but monster guest.
Yep, Troy.
Troy Aikman. Let's just hop into him. Needs no introduction. Boom. Here's Troy.
The Cowboys quarterback from UCLA, number 8, Troy Aikman.
All right, so Troy, I think we know why we're here. You made a video when you were with Deion being like, I want to meet Dave Portnoy, so here we are. I don't know why.
Well, I'll tell you.
Right.
Yeah, no, so I came across you on Instagram, and I'm not sure exactly how, but what what I saw was about the first 10 times I saw you, you were doing these pizza.
That's how a lot of people know me.
Yeah, and I thought, well, this is interesting. And then when you started with your fund, I thought that was really cool. I've seen you on Fox News. I've seen you on CNN, MSNBC. I've seen you on all those different news shows. I'm kind of a news junkie. And then with the whole Robin Hood situation, I think there were a lot of things along the way that our paths kept crossing, along with, Deion's relationship with Barstool. And I always thought every time I saw you, there was an intelligence about your answers and the way you handled everything, and yet we're very authentic and unyielding to what your beliefs were. And so I just thought, wow, this guy, I like this guy. I like his approach. I like his whole demeanor. And so when I'm there with Deion, I didn't even know they were filming it or anything, but I'm thinking, and I'd said it to some other people, which is so unlike me. I think the people who know me were blown away by that, because rarely do I ever say that, hey, I really want to, meet this particular person. I'm just not that type of guy. But no, you've been impressive, and I admire what you've done, and you've helped a lot of people, and you've kind of stuck to your values and your principles. And I think it's really, really cool. So I'm a fan, and I'm thrilled to be on the show.
Well, I don't know what to say to that. That was like, usually I'm surrounded by people who work for me trying to tear me down. That was like the nicest intro I've ever had. So I appreciate it. And, it's interesting because I've been doing this thing now for close to 2 decades. So, there's people who've been with me from the beginning when I was like handing out newspapers to, I feel like during quarantine, a lot more for whatever reason, whether it was Robin Hood, the Barstool Fund, Deion, a bunch of different factors coming across. And you know, a guy like you, first of all, I was stunned when I saw the clip because there was no backstory to it. It's just sent to me blank. I opened it. I saw you. I'm like, what is this going to be? And then I saw what you said.
So I want to every night looking at Deion. I want to meet Portnoy. I follow him. I'm impressed. I'm impressed with him. Yeah, the guy's got balls, you know.
And as I've grown, I don't know how to say this. People have at times been afraid to attach themselves to me who may know me, and I have a lot of well-known people, but as time has gone, that seems to starting to go away. And they're afraid because I always say kind of what I feel. I've gotten in trouble for some of the stuff that I've said, but if I genuinely don't think I was wrong or it was taken out of context or like I made a joke that people are like, hey, that's not funny. It's like, yeah, but it clearly is a joke. I don't mean like what people drag it. I'll never apologize. And then that goes into, I almost go back and forth who I call the no fun club or people who really hate me. And then they'll take my sarcastic responses. And if you look them out of context, they're really bad. So it's interesting because as Barstool's grown, we become more well known. And I feel like people are more willing lately to not attach, but be like, yeah, I'm a Barstool guy. Do you agree with that, Eddie?
Well, I think the thing that I understand what you're saying. I think that I find myself, of course, through my broadcasting career and on the football side of things that, sometimes you make a comment about something and it's what you believe, and then it gets misconstrued or there's a reaction to it. And I've said things over the years on different platforms to where I felt strongly with what it is that I've said. It hasn't always been received as I would like, but yet I'm kind of with you. I think that, my intentions are never to try to attack somebody or to try to be controversial or anything else. When I say something, it's what I truly believe, and it's how I really feel. And so if I'm saying it, then I'm not going to back off of that, and that's not to say that I'm always right. I mean, there have been times when I've had to come back and say, hey, look, you know what, I apologize, but no, I admire that. I admire people who have convictions. I mean, I don't know you that well, obviously. I mean, I don't know you at all. We've never met in person. I only know what I've seen. And so, who knows? After this, some people can say, hey, do you know what Dave Portnoy did?
They will.
He's this, exactly. And I don't know. I don't know all that stuff. All I know is that what I see is someone who's been appears to be very genuine, authentic. I like what you've been doing, and you've been unabashed as far as what you believe. I think the whole Robin Hood thing, you took on some pretty big people and stood behind what you said on every interview that I saw, and I thought, wow. And that's why I said, when I was there in Jackson, Mississippi, they said, well, why do you want to meet him? I said, I think the guy's got big balls, I mean, I do. I say, I admire that there's some conviction there in what you believe. And I happen to agree. I guess that's what makes it work, is that I agree with the way you took them on and what you had to say. I don't think it was right. I think a lot of people were impacted. It's not right. And you were one of the few to really stand up and say it.
Yeah, I still feel that way. One of the things, and it is kind of full circle, because when I posted that, I said, because it was a surreal moment for me. I grew up, I was actually, believe it or not, when I was really young, I was a Vikings fan. So I was like a Vikings fan when they did the Herschel Walker trade, and then I switched. The Patriots were terrible, and I became like 12. I switched to the Patriots. So I've been watching it my whole life through the Cowboys dynasty. I hated you guys, as most people did. Either you loved you guys or hated you guys during your dynasty. So to see you say that was surreal to me. I post that clip, and I bet you're clearly very well aware. People view me, and I don't think this is correct, I've said it a lot, as a hardcore conservative, like a Trump guy, because I'm on Fox News a lot. And the fact of the matter is, I think sometimes people don't even listen to what I say on Fox News because I'm pretty down the middle. And I've always said, hey, if CNN invites me, I'll go. If Fox invites me, I'll go. I didn't know this about the comments you made. I didn't even know the flyover comments that you made. But I was surprised knowing just what from the outside kind of, but when I put you up, the people who think I'm the conservative, they're like, oh, Troy, he hates the military. He hates this. Now, I've seen you clarify those, but is that one of the comments that you were talking about? So, Eddie, did you know about these comments he made, which I'm just reading them on paper and saw your response. It almost sounds like you made them. Well, I'll let you explain them.
Well, yeah, and actually, no, those were not. Although I will tell you this, Dave, that I mean, obviously, we're in highly energized times. You know that I think that everyone on the right thinks the left is socialist. Everyone on the left thinks the right is racist, and somewhere in the middle is where we kind of all congregate. And I believe that. First of all, I have supported the military my entire life. So for anyone to suggest otherwise, or that I don't back the military or our men and women in uniform is grossly wrong. And you know, I know back 4 or 5 years ago, whenever it was, when the police officers got ambushed in downtown Dallas, and I tweeted something about that situation. And that was the first time I'd ever heard about Black Lives Matters. And I got criticized because I was saying that, hey, all lives matter. And these police officers, they just got taken down, you know? And so I find myself, and I still, but the comments as far as before the game, what was funny about that is I love a flyover. I said that in my statement after the fact. It was not a situation where we were in the booth and we didn't know the mics were on. We knew the mics were hot. We were talking to the people in our truck. And so the anthem just finished. Here comes the flyover. And you could see this jet stream. And I just made the comment that, wow, that's a lot of jet fuel for a flyover. There was hardly anybody in the stands, but I was just thinking, gosh, that's a lot of expense, you know, for a flyover. It wasn't that I don't like a flyover. It was nothing like that. There was nothing political in that comment. And then Joe, being who Joe is, before we go on the air, we usually joke around and kid around or whatever. Joe kind of is in a joking way, says, hey, that's your tax dollars or something.
That's your hard-earned money and your tax dollars at work.
And I jokingly said, well, that's not going to happen, you know, under the Kamala Biden ticket or something like that.
That stuff ain't happening with Kamala Biden ticket. I'll tell you that right now.
And then all of a sudden, you know, somebody with an agenda, and I don't know, we still don't know who, somebody leaks that as though this was breaking information as to where Joe and Troy stand on the political spectrum. No one. And then I'm handcuffed as far as what you can actually, you know, because you're going to alienate people no matter how you try. I just said, hey, you know, let it go. But anyone who knows me knows where I stand when it comes to, I guess, even my political beliefs, what I think is important in our country, where I am with the military, where I am with the men and women in uniform, all of those things. I'm very involved in a lot of those causes and a lot of those things that are important to me. So that and that. I think that's what pains me the most is that, you know, when I was a kid, I was about 7 years old, and the Vikings and the Raiders are playing in the Super Bowl, and I'll never forget it. I made my mom and dad get up and put their hand over their heart and stand for the national anthem, you know? I mean, so it pains me for anyone to think that I'm not a patriot or that I don't support our military, because nothing could be further from the truth.
So for me, and I get caught, I feel like you said something that I've said publicly a gazillion times. I hate the extreme left and I hate the extreme right. They're both equally nuts in my mind. And what you said, most people are in the middle and want to get along. And there's a lot of gray areas. But unfortunately, things are left or right. I haven't heard you. I'm always in these. I feel like lately people want to politicize almost everything I do. I was even telling Eddie before this, I got asked to speak on the Senate hearings for small business. And it was a Republican group who asked me. I'm like, yeah, I'll do it. And they're like, okay, well, we want to sit down with you and hear your views before you go on. And it's like, well, I'm not doing that. I believe how I believe. And if you don't like it, but I'm going to say what I think. And it's probably aligns with them, but it's like everything has agendas. How hard was it? Because I haven't remembered since I've been following you, which is not super close, but a big football guy. You've been in that type of situation. And I've kind of been able to tune it out. But it is frustrating when people just say things that are not only false, but like way off your character. So is that something hard for you to deal with those?
Not so well. I'll tell you what's hard. What's hard for me, I mean, I think there's two rules of thought here in that some people would say, hey, as long as I know that it's not true, as long as I know that, hey, I'm being attacked for something that's not true, whatever that is, whatever that might be, then you say, okay, well, who cares? I mean, right? And but in this situation, this one was more troubling to me because if like we were talking about to begin with, if you feel strongly about something and you take a position and then you get criticized for that, but you're being criticized because people understand where you are on that issue or what your position is, then you say, okay, well, that's fine. Not everybody has to agree with that. But when you're being attacked for something that's not accurate and it's totally, not who you are, that becomes a little bit more challenging. I mean, I've never been on that scale. But I get it. I mean, social media, everybody's got a platform. Everybody's able to communicate and tell you how they feel. And I've gotten a lot of it from a lot of people saying that, hey, how can you not back our military? And that, like I said a minute ago, that pains me because there's not a lot of things in my life that I would say, hey, people better be able to understand this about me or should understand this about me. But that is one of them. And, I don't hold anyone really in higher regard than those that fight for the very freedoms that we have in this country. I mean, I'm grateful each and every day for their sacrifices and what they do. And I think that we're finally kind of at a point in time, this has gone on for the last 20 years or whatever it's been, that we finally truly acknowledge our military and what they have meant to us in our lifetimes. We have seen it. Mm-hmm. And so, that was hard. But at the end of the day, people then move on. I'm not egotistical enough or narcissistic enough to think that people are dwelling on my world or, people have their own lives. And I think you put it in its proper place and you move on.
On to lighter subjects. And this one's putting you on the spot. So I hadn't met Deion until he came to work with us. And I've said this, from my perception of what I thought he was going to be to what he is, I probably had, maybe nobody has surprised me more in like 20 years of doing this. Like, I'm widely impressed with everything about him, far more calculating. The primetime thing I get, but like he controls it way more. He's just a different guy than I think if you didn't know him, you'd be like, oh my God, this is not what I thought I was getting.
Yeah.
Is there anybody else in your career, or who would you say like another guy that you've played with, known celebrity, that doesn't add up like that?
That doesn't
the image of like Michael Irvin. I met quickly. He'd be another guy I expect to be like.
Well, that's who I was going to say is Michael Irvin. I think both those guys are very similar. I think there's a public persona that people then draw conclusions that they know what this person's all about or how they're wired. Or I will say, sticking with Deion, I could not be more proud of him. I mean, I am really, really proud for what he is doing there at Jackson State. Deion is one of he's a polarizing guy. And a lot of that is by design.
Right.
That's kind of who he is. He likes that. He and I came into the league together back in 1989 in the same draft when he went to Atlanta. We competed, of course, and then he came to Dallas and we were teammates. So I've kind of, on the athletic fields, I've seen him in all situations. But, he gets into coaching and he was helping a lot of young kids. A lot of people didn't really see that, but his kids were also involved and he was coaching them at the high school level. But to really put himself out there the way that he has, I think validates all that he's done up to this point as a coach. And now it's no longer, hey, I'm kind of hiding. I'm the coordinator. I'm not the head coach. So I'm not, he's out there. And I think there's only going to be bigger things in his future. I think he's going to be great. He already has been. He's 2-0 at Jackson State. I'm thrilled. I'm watching the games and went to his opener. And I think that he'll, however far he wants to take this, I think he's going to do it. And in the process of doing that, as you've seen, Dave, he's making a real impact in young people's lives. And at his core, he's an old school guy.
Yeah.
And I love that. I mean, I love that. I love the old school approach, and that's him. And Michael's the same way. There was nobody when I was playing that practiced harder than Michael Irvin, and why we were good. Yeah, we were talented, but we worked harder than everybody else too. And that was 6 days a week, 5 days a week. We were off on Tuesdays. And then it showed up on Sundays when we went out and played. But Michael was the guy leading the charge each and every day out there on the practice field and creating an environment where it was highly competitive. And we had a lot of guys like that. And that's why we were as successful as we were.
What's wrong with the Cowboys? I always put it, and I'll give you my interpretation, and then you can play off it. And I know you probably won't throw your guy under the bus. I, as an owner, would be exactly like Jerry Jones. I actually, if I was the owner, I'd call the plays. Like, it's my team. I love football. I'd call the plays. I do it all. And if we win, great. And if we lose, well, I'm the owner. It's my toy, and I love it, and I want to be involved. So I think, when they do good, it's him. But they've been bad now for a long time. And to me, they have patsy coaches because he wants to have his thumb. And that's probably from why I would say Jimmy left, because it's like a little bit of a power struggle. I could be wrong. So it all starts and stops with Jerry because he wants the power.
Yeah, I think that what you said is that you would call the plays.
Yeah.
I mean, you would be the owner, the head coach,
I don't want the pressure. Sunday I show up, I put on the headset, I call the plays.
Yeah. So I have said over the years that it's kind of tongue-in-cheek, but then it's kind of not. That I think that Jerry should name himself as the head coach, because then I think that it's kind of like what I just said with Deion. When Deion took this head coaching job at Jackson State, he totally exposed now. I mean, now, he's the one who has to do it all. And I think that would be the case for Jerry. I think some of the things that make the job challenging for a head coach would then be different if Jerry, of course, was the head coach and the guy who everyone had to answer to and was there every day, and that he was the guy directly criticized when the team was struggling, if that makes sense. So
it makes perfect sense. He seems like a guy who, and again,
honestly, I think I
like the credit when it's going good and the blame given to somebody else if it's going bad.
Yeah, no, well that's what you can't do. I mean, if you're the head coach, you don't get to just pass the blame. But I think he would be really good. Quite honestly, I think Jerry would be a really good head coach. If he really invested himself in that role, he's pulled in a million different directions. He's got a lot going on. I mean, he's a great salesman. We understand that. He's smart. What his impact has been for the National Football League is phenomenal. I mean, his place in the history of our game is going to be extremely prominent. One of the most prominent of anybody who's passed through the halls. So it's been unfortunate that the Cowboys have struggled the way that they have. And when I say struggled, I think our organization is at a point where people are only counting championships. And so for this team not to have been to even an NFC championship
playoff game in forever, right?
They've only won a few. So yeah, so it's been since I played in '95 since the Cowboys last made it to an NFC championship game. And for an organization with the history that the Cowboys have, yeah, it's kind of hard to put your head around. But hopefully with Dak, I'm a huge fan of Dak. They got him signed, and I'm hopeful that better days are ahead.
So you alluded to it, though, and I don't know if Jerry's the type of guy. I don't care if like his ex-Hall of Fame players criticize him, he gets mad. But what you just said, he's being pulled in all different directions But I don't think he's letting go because he's still there, and that's a tough spot to be when you're involved and not involved. That I think that's what you said without maybe wanting him to be. Why'd you say that?
Yeah, no, I think that there's a lot of good that comes with Jerry that has been really positive for the Cowboys and for the brand. I mean, it's obviously a very visible organization. There's been times when the team has forget 8-8. There's been times when the team's been really poor, and yet they lead off, every sportscast. People around the country want to hear about the Cowboys. People either love them or they hate them. I think Jerry Jones is a big reason why. I think Jerry by himself is able to keep the Cowboys relevant. Now with that, when you have that type of a personality who's that involved, you alluded to it. It's one of the reasons why it didn't work with Jimmy and Jerry. Now I've always said it's not all on Jerry that didn't work out. I think Jimmy kind of wanted to go too. Jimmy's ego is just as big.
Right.
And so, you get two big personalities like that. I do think that had that success have come later for both of those guys, they would have found a way to make it work because they wouldn't have taken for granted just what we had. And they had a lot of coaches who have left the building and gone on to other organizations, for the last 25 years and say what we had during that time in the early 90s, they've never been able to replicate. It just doesn't happen very often, but it happened for us. I came in the same year as Jimmy and Jerry.
Yep.
It happened for us within the first 5 years after being the worst team in football. And I think a lot of us, some more than others, thought it was probably a little easier to do than it really was.
Now, I am a diehard Patriot fan, and you talk about egos and different things.
Well, now you started out as a Vikings fan.
That was till I was like 12. I thought the helmets looked like candy to me, so I wanted to eat it. And the Patriots like 0-16, the Scott Zolak era, which I always bust his balls about. I mean, they weren't winning games. This was pre. I liked them throughout the Bledsoe era.
Okay, you didn't just jump on the bandwagon.
No, I was already on them before all that. But a question I've been asked, and I love Brady. I went to jail for Brady. I don't know if you know that. Like, literally.
I did not know that.
Yeah, so Roger Goodell hates me. I'm banned from the NFL. Like, he dragged me out of the Super Bowl in handcuffs. Literally.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, I told you there's some stuff you could.
I'm going to have to start walking back some of the things that wait a minute. What time is it? I think I got to get going.
No joke. So we were huge Patriot fans, and Deflategate happened, and we couldn't have been more on Tom's side. Said there's no proof. Even if he did it, you haven't got a shred of evidence. You've been in the rules. And I said, we're going to do something here. If they do something to our guy Brady, we're going to have to make a scene. So when he got suspended, myself and 3 other guys handcuffed ourselves to each other at NFL headquarters and demanded to speak to Roger Goodell. We got thrown in jail, spent the night in jail. It's my Twitter avatar. I have a 1-2 on my face. And the judge saw us. And by the way, they put us in with the murderers and stuff in New York prison. The judge looks at us like, what are you guys doing here? We're like, well, Tom Brady got suspended. So they threw the case out. That started an ongoing war with Roger. Have you ever seen the Roger Goodell clown shirts? Patricia wore it. The Saints,
I've not seen it. No.
Saints coach wore
Sean
it.
Payton.
Sean Payton wore it.
Come up with those?
Oh yeah, we had the first time he came back to Gillette. We had 70,000 of those towels in the crowd. The Crafts called me and they said, we never let anything in the stadium here, but we're going to turn the other way and let you bring these towels in. Jonathan Kraft signed the wall of our office. The only news organization that gets it right 100% of the time. So, I mean, we were going at him. Fast forward to it was the Rams Super Bowl. I show up to media day, and all of a sudden I'm getting surrounded by all these suits from the NFL, and I had a mustache on, and they kicked me out. But I walked. I went gently, which I regretted. I walked out. And they sat me down. They said, you can't go to the Super Bowl. I go, well, I bought a ticket. I paid $5,000 for a ticket. So whatever. Super Bowl comes. I go to the Super Bowl, mustache, halftime. All of a sudden, the security starts circling again, and you got to go. And I refuse to go. So about 10 people pick me up, dragged me out, put me in handcuffs, and it's just been an ongoing war with him, literally since. So yeah, I'm Roger Goodell's enemy number one.
It's enemy number one still to this day.
To this day, which is crazy because he's had multiple opportunities to just almost make light of it. Like, all right, here's an example. I keep forgetting all these things, but so during the NFL draft, during COVID, Roger Goodell said, we're going to donate money to frontline workers, and whoever bids the most can watch Monday Night Football with me in my man cave. So I spent $250,000, and I won this contest. And the NFL got back to me and said, we did research, and we have a file on you, and you have a lot of issues we're not going to allow. I go, file? They're all you. You didn't have to look that hard. Every issue is you. So they wouldn't let me do that either. Took the money right out of the frontline workers' mouths. It's terrible. So yes, it's very recent. It's very recent. Long story. This is my Patriot love. I actually, before Tom went and won another Super Bowl, and I'm his big. He knows. Like I wouldn't say great relationship, but we definitely know each other. I said I would take the coach over the quarterback. I said I would take Belichick. This is prior to winning the Super Bowl. And I still think there's a lot to be left to write in the story because I think Bill will be motivated now, even more so if he wasn't. So what is your take? Like, what is your take on what happened with the Patriots and where do you see it going?
Well, a few years ago, before the season began, there was all the conversation about these two aren't getting along and Brady had stayed away from the organization that offseason, and a lot of people were making a big deal about it. And again, it goes back, that's kind of the world we're in. Everybody makes a big deal about everything. I didn't think anything of that because I just know that, gosh, I mean, having been through it, what we just talked about with Jimmy and Jerry, that, yeah, these two guys eventually, people kind of grow tired of each other. And, in order to achieve what that organization had achieved, there was a lot of big personalities. And then Mr. Kraft fits into that as well. He's the third part of this. But I think that I had always asked the question, first of all, I think it's totally unfair that this year that people wanted to then say, oh, okay, well, it was all then Tom Brady, because of their success in New England and, Bill and Bill is, I can't even believe I'm having to say this. Bill is phenomenal, right? Bill's an amazing coach. And Tom went on and had a lot of pieces around him. I'm a huge fan of Tom Brady's. I used to always ask the question back when they were together at New England, okay, who benefits more from the other? And I don't really know the answer to that. But what I knew was when I played for Jimmy Johnson, I got to just go play football. I got to just go be a quarterback. I got to just be a good teammate to the guys in the locker room. That's what Tom Brady got to do. For 20 years in New England, he got to be a quarterback, a great teammate, and just focus on football and not worry about a lot of other things that are happening in the organization. And then when Jimmy left in Dallas, nobody was picking up the slack. And I found myself, having to be the heavy hand in a lot of situations and trying to do what I felt needed to be done in order for us to win. And that's exhausting. So I think that Tom clearly benefited from those things from Bill with the structure and the way that he ran things. And then Bill benefited from having a great quarterback. So it was a perfect situation. And then Mr. Kraft let them all kind of do their thing, and he didn't require, too much attention. He obviously is highly respected. I think the world of him also. But I was thrilled. I was really pulling for Tom for no reason to do with him leaving New England. Mm-hmm. Things happen, I hated to see him put on another uniform, but he went to Tampa, and I thought, heck, I hope he lights it up. I love the guy. I love everything he represents and what he stands for. And there was a time in the middle of the season I didn't think they would get it going, but they did. And then for New England, there were games they won this year that no other coach would have been able to win. I thought that some of the game planning that he was able to do with the pieces that he had, I thought were masterful. But they had a number of players who opted out before the season, good players. And then they just never really quite came together. But my belief is that They're going to make a hard run in free agency. They're going to more than likely go after a quarterback that they feel strongly about. And I would expect New England to be right there back in the middle of it again, and I don't think any less of Bill Belichick. I guess I think more of Tom, but that's hard to do for as much as I thought of him. So anyway, I think like you said, there's still a lot more to this story before it's all said and done.
A question still that I'm on the record already. So if you were a GM, have you ever thought of, by the way, any interest in getting in that side of the football?
Yeah, I actually always thought that it's something that I would have done. The broadcasting really was great for me at a time in my life. I was a single dad raising my girls, and it gave me the flexibility of being home and not having to go in the morning. I was able to take them to school, pick them up from school, and I just was gone, a couple days over the weekend. Now my youngest graduates this year from high school. So now I'm at a point in my life to where if I really wanted to go pursue that, I could. But I love my life. I love my job. It's really good, and I'm pretty happy with it all.
So then the question I was going to ask was the GM hat. That's what triggered it. If you went back and say coaches are in the draft, beginning of the careers, Brady or Belichick, who would you take? Knowing what they've done, but who would you take? Knowing who they are.
Well, I mean, I guess at this point right now, at Brady, Tom's 43 years old.
Well, no, I'm saying you start over. They're both coming out. Just say coaches are in the draft. So maybe you don't know, but they're one.
Yeah, so even then with Tom, drafted where he was, nobody could have predicted Tom going on to be Tom Brady. But I think that I do think this, Dave, and I feel strongly about this. I was asked many years ago, hey, where are all the great quarterbacks? What happened to all the great quarterbacks? And I said, I don't think it's a question of where are all the great quarterbacks. I think it's more of a question of where are all the great coaches? Where are all the great offensive minds? Because I think there are a ton of quarterbacks over the years that have come into the league and that have left the NFL with a label of being a bust. And I think had they have gone to a better situation, if they had Bill Walsh coaching them, if they had Norv Turner coaching them or Mike Holmgren coaching them, their careers would have looked a lot different. And I know how my career started, and I know how it got back on track when Norv Turner came to Dallas. And we were the last ranked offense in football my second season in the league. And then he came in and we went to 9th. And then we were in the top 5 the next 2 years, and we win Super Bowls. So I think that
you're where I am. I think you're where I am. Without putting words, the coach, a great coach, I think is always going to be great. They're always going to find the people around, build the team. A great quarterback, if he's not in the right, I don't care who you are. If you take 2 steps back, the coach control. I think the coach in all of sports, every single sport, the head coach of an NFL team is, unless it's Jerry Jones, is the most important position in sports.
Well, I think I have felt that in college you can win a lot of games with great talent. In college you can win a lot of games with great coaching. In the NFL, you have to have both. You've got to have talent and you've got to have really good coaching. I mean, it's just too hard. And so, yeah, I know the saying, hey, players are the ones who win. They're the ones who get it done. Yes, that is true. But the coaches have to be the ones who put them in the right position. So I've always valued coaching and what that means. And Bill Belichick, heck, I'm just thrilled to be here on earth while he's doing it. And he'll be thought of. I'm asked a lot, hey, who would you have at a dinner if you could have a dinner at your house, whether they're living or have passed? And Vince Lombardi always has a seat at my dinner table. And Bill Belichick is going to be thought of in the same way as Vince Lombardi. He already is, but as time passes, that's only going to grow. And Tom Brady as well. I mean, he's right up. He's the greatest to ever do it. So this is exciting stuff to be able to be around and watch these guys do it still.
I appreciate it. Eddie. You've been brilliant during this
Thank
interview.
you, thank
really
you,
chipped in
Troy.
with a
I
lot. We don't want to
appreciate it.
keep him too long, but it was nice to finally get to meet you, and maybe we'll actually get to meet in person sometime.
Would love it. Would love it. Thanks for having me. It means a lot. Really appreciate it.
I appreciate it, and I appreciate the kind words. It was great meeting you.
You got it. Take care.
Take care.
Thanks, Troy. All right, so that was Troy Aikman, Dave.
Yeah, and I'm not good at interviewing people. It's not my forte.
Why do you think that is?
I don't know. I like hearing myself talk. I like being asked the question. But no, that probably, but I'm not. You need planning probably, right?
No, you do need planning for sure, but also I feel like you're just generally not that interested in other people.
Yeah, that's a super insult.
But I'm
like,
I'm
you
being
don't want to be
honest.
one of those guys who just isn't interested in other people, but I'm not.
But I think you are. I think that's true.
I'm not interested in other people, correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I think that's why you don't like interviewing people.
Yeah, I don't really care.
You don't want to find out.
I mean, it was interesting. I found him interesting.
He was interesting. We could have went for an hour and a half.
Right.
Probably.
I didn't stop it because I didn't find him to be interesting, but it's like sometimes I don't know whether I feel like tell when my content is good, but when I interview somebody, I'm just lost. I'm like, is this good? Is it running long? Do I have to stop? I can't tell. Am I taking too much of Troy's time? Does Troy not want to be here? I don't know. I don't know.
I was a spectator in that interview.
Yeah, you didn't, but you said that beforehand.
Yeah. And I thought it was good. Like, I enjoyed watching you guys talk. I was
Yeah,
interested.
did you guys think it was it? But, we have a lot of yes men around here.
Yeah.
Like Gaz Paul will generally be like, nah, it wasn't that good. He's the only one I kind of trust with his opinion. I can't tell if that was. I have no idea whether people like that.
No, I think people will like it. I think people will find it interesting how a fucking Super Bowl Hall of Fame quarterback was like, yeah, I saw him and I liked what he did with Robin Hood.
It's crazy because that is my notoriety has gone up, and that's an illustration. He's right. Like, people have just started seeing me like, he's on Fox News, Call Her Daddy, fucking stock market, Robin Hood, and it's like you just keep seeing me everywhere, and pretty soon, I'm just in your brain.
Yeah.
I've infiltrated your brain.
And what I want to say in between, and what the connection was, it was very clear that it was a non-bullshit podcast. He sees you on the TV, and you thought you were authentic, and you could pretty much tell that Troy's pretty fucking authentic too. So I think that's where
he's
the connection
great as an
was.
announcer, and it's great. Although he didn't come right out, I couldn't get him to say it's all Jerry Jones' fault, but he kind of said it.
Well, what are you gonna do? Picture his shoes, dancing around what's going on with the Cowboys, because he shows up because you show up somewhere.
Right.
What's the general first question, Dave? Oh, like maybe a pizza question, maybe like, what's
with me?
Yeah, what's the general first question people
that
ask
I
you?
get?
Yeah.
It just depends what's going on. Like right now, it's Robin Hood, right? Mm-hmm. So a lot of people ask me about stocks, buzz, things like that. Call Her Daddy, it was the Call Her Daddy. When Part of My Take launched, it was Part of My Take. It's whatever's the moment. Barstool Sports. I have the hiccups. I got the goddamn hiccups.
Well, what I'm trying to say is, Troy is asked the same question.
Cowboys, yeah, right.
Every single time.
Yeah, sure.
Every single time. So I guess that's my point. I mean, I do
so
think.
you're just saying I ask the same questions everybody.
No. That's not what I said. I'm just saying.
You don't want to be that guy, but I guess I was.
I'm saying
he's
well versed in the question, so he kind of knows how to answer it. But I do think some people will nitpick shit, the people that don't like us from your political conversation.
But I didn't think it was political.
Everything's political, but I get what you're saying. But you know how it works. Listen,
I told you when I posted that clip of Troy Aikman saying he wanted to meet me because I got big old balls. Like I had no idea he said anything about the flyover, and all people were making it was super political, and I had no idea why. So when I asked him why he liked me, and he was kind of like, "I've seen on Fox News, and bullshit." Just the very fact that he's saying he saw me on Fox News actually probably flies in the face of what a lot of people were saying to me about him, because they were portraying him like Bernie Sanders.
Yeah, and you guys bonded over that, clearly.
I think Troy and I are probably like best friends. I'm getting a lot of new best friends. Deion loves me. I saw he had a clip of Rex Ryan like talking about me.
Hey Dave, I got somebody who want to meet you, man. What's up? How you doing?
We should get him on for sure.
I grill him all day. Rex Ryan still thinks he's a better coach, I think, than Belichick.
Well, that's the Rex Ryan world.
Yeah.
That's how he does it.
It's
You
true.
know that. So, yeah, it'll be interesting. But I mean, I feel like you would trust me to tell you if it was good or not.
Yeah.
No?
Yeah. I'm not an interview guy. Everyone knows that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, the only interview I've ever planned for was Trump.
How was that? How was the planning for that? You just had a little pocketbook.
No, I wrote a bunch of questions down and whatnot and thought about it and asked. And the Dave Portnoy Show is an interesting show. And maybe it morphs a different way, but in my head, and maybe it's not what it is, because you mentioned guests, it's about Barstool Sports and me.
Yeah.
And maybe it's not, or maybe we go away. It's not if you have a guest. If you have a guest, it should be we're interested in you, right? Like what's interesting to you? Why are you in the news? Or like the Robin Hood guy of general questions, like a hot topic. But there's nothing burning going on with Troy Aikman.
No.
Yet it's almost like, well, hey, Troy, why do you like me? You know, it still was focused on me. If we have guests, is that what we are? Just
No, I think that's what it should be, because I think that's generally, and like I said beforehand, because people are going to be like, oh, like you said, great job, you didn't say shit. But to me, it's like, I think people are interested in what Troy Aikman and Dave want to talk about. That's what this is about. It's about you. So I think this
isn't like, Roy Firestone on, what was that show? You're going to make me cry, Roy, on ESPN. This isn't a one-on-one. This isn't like a life story on who's ever coming. I don't want to do that. As you beautifully put, Eddie, I don't really give a fuck about anybody.
You don't.
So I don't want to have someone on and ask their life story. That doesn't interest me.
Good. Then I think that's a good way to kind of meet in the middle.
Like because you do throw guests, like, let's have this person. I was like, why? Unless there's some sort of relationship, like Greg Olsen, love to have him. Like Greg Olsen, we're legit friends. I'm interested. I am. So I shouldn't say I'm not interested in people I know. I'm very interested in what Greg Olsen, and I've talked to him. Like Greg Olsen and I had an hour-and-a-half conversation 2 weeks ago about like his future after the NFL.
On the phone?
On the phone.
How'd that go?
Good. Like we're friends.
Can I float something out there?
He's like asking me, my perspective on the media industry and things maybe, and I'm happy to, and I think he's awesome and we have a legit friendship and we have a conversation like that. If he was on, probably a lot of it wasn't super private. It's pretty open, maybe change company names and whatnot. But that's interesting to me because I know Greg.
Can I float something out there?
Float it.
I think if you open the checkbook for a Greg Olsen, Jay Cutler podcast, it could be fucking huge.
The two of them together?
Yeah. I mean, that's how they came in.
Are they even friends?
They both played in the Bears.
I know that, but are they friends?
I don't know. I can't verify that, but I would assume...
Jay Cutler has never, ever seemed to me like somebody who wants to be a consistent media figure.
Oh, no, not at all. But
Greg
what he does, he's fucking awesome.
Well, but
if it's like here's the thing. If you get them in a Whitney Bissonnette situation here where it's like, hey, guys, we just need you one or two shows, couple hours a week.
I don't know Jay Cutler.
Yeah.
Even though the history goes, he is kind of was one of the first eye-popping moments in the history of Barstool when Paul and I were at the swimsuit show with Chris and Cavallari, and Cutler wouldn't talk to anybody. ESPN was there, Bleacher Report, everybody was there, and the people brought us like, you can't talk to Jay. He won't talk to the media. 10 minutes later, someone comes up, and they're like, weirdly, Jay Cutler said the only people who could hang out with him were the Barstool guys. And we hadn't met him yet. And then me and Gaz went over and hung out with him. That was the introduction of us to Jay. And then Greg Olsen's like, no, Jay got it from me. Like, Greg Olsen was athlete number one into our world.
Yeah, and that's where the connection came in Chicago.
This is a long story. I don't think Jay's interested. Greg is going to be a media superstar in some aspect.
Yeah.
I truly believe that.
Do you...
Although his look sort of works against him a little bit because he's like a Ken doll.
He's like,
and that being a Ken doll is not in demand right now.
But I think Greg Olsen has been real and authentic enough that people would.
No, I don't mean that. I mean we're in an era.
Yeah.
We're in an era where like diversity is.
I know what you're trying to say.
King. So he can't be less diverse.
Yeah, but I don't know, man. I think at some point you got to see through people and see like. Good people are good people, and fucking.
Well, I'm not talking about good people, but
no, I know. Continue.
I don't know if I should say what I'm going to say.
Don't say it then. Don't say it. But it's safe to say we really want him in some capacity, right? Did you talk about that?
Greg?
Yeah.
Absolutely. Greg and I talked about doing a podcast together before this started.
You told me that when I pitched you this show. Do you remember that conversation on the phone?
Yeah, so Greg and I had talked. He was still playing at the time. And then this and the BFF one started. So it's like, how many podcasts can I do? But if I was going to go the route with an athlete, it's a super short list that I can think of that I'd be comfortable enough. He's one. Honestly, like Deion is two. And maybe fucking Aikman after that. Like, there's just very few that I feel like I can totally be myself. Whitney, obviously, if you consider him an athlete. Do we consider Whitney an athlete?
He's just like a Barstool guy at this point.
Like his Barstool.
He is an athlete, but
I mean, he made a lot of money. People say he's good at skating around and shit like that. When he's dead, he'll be remembered as a Barstool guy, not a hockey player.
I wonder if he'll take exception to that.
I don't mean that. I mean,
no, I know you're not being a dick.
Career.
I know you're not being a dick.
He's one of those guys, and there's lots of players who their broadcasting career did Al. Who's the Monday night? There was a Monday night guy. Was it not Al Michaels? Did Al Michaels play football? No. Who's the other guy?
Well, that's how it is. Like someone.
Like Dan Dierdorf, a lot of people know him as, right?
Yeah, like Lynn Swanee,
Yeah, I know Lynn Swan is a football player.
Yeah, see,
first.
I'm younger, so that's why it's, so people.
But he was younger before me, but he's a Hall of Fame football player.
Yeah.
Ryan Whitney's, I don't think he's.
He's an Olympian.
I don't think he's.
I'm going to defend.
Where's the Hockey Hall of Fame? Ontario? Montreal? I don't think he's going there. Wherever it is, he may drive through.
He fucking made it to the NHL, though. He's a hockey player.
He's unbelievable hockey player. He signed a $25 million contract. Listen, the naysayers will say Sid the Kid and Lemieux, whoever carried him and got him that contract. I'm not one of those guys. He made a shit ton better athlete than 99.9% of the world. He's a Barstool guy. When his epitaph is written, blogger first, podcaster, partner to RA, and then hockey.
See, this is where you pull out the fucking toothpick.
Should I call him?
Sure, call him. It's also a testament to him to how fucking good he is.
He's great. Wait, time out. Absolutely. So it's not a put down. And I'm being dead serious. I don't know.
If you think he'll answer, he's probably on the course.
He always is golfing.
He golfs a shit ton.
He wants to be a pro golfer. That's how he wants to be remembered. I hope he picks up. He rarely picks up on the first.
What's up, man?
Hey, so I'm doing the Dave Portnoy Show, so you're on the air with Eddie. And this is no darts, we want an honest answer. And I wasn't being a dick.
Oh, fuck off, dude. I'm not doing this shit. If you're going to come, I'm on the golf course. I'm relaxed. If you chirp me right now, I'm going to lose my mind and hang up.
It's not a chirp. It is when you're dead and buried. How do you think you'll be remembered first? As like a podcast Barstool guy or as a NHL player? Like, what do you think you'll be more known for?
That's the dumbest question I've ever heard. You waste my time. I'm a podcaster.
Okay.
I'm a podcast vodka mogul.
Okay, fine. All right, we're on the same page. That's not a dumb question at all.
Well, what did you say?
I said the same, but you
think you fucking made me, but you really haven't. You helped make me. You haven't made me, but I am a podcaster and I am a vodka mogul.
Well, no, it's a tribute to how good you are at this world. That's what we're saying. You NHL player. We gave you all the props for that. I was
born for this. I really was. Oh, look! I watched the fish just jump out of the water. Look at this fish jumping. Look at the thing. Look at these fish jumping. With gators everywhere. I'm living. So I appreciate everything you've done, but I'm a podcaster. I got a big putt coming. I gotta go.
So he's got a big putt coming up. He's got to go. So he agrees.
Yeah, he does. Mm-hmm.
He is.
That's good.
I mean, I never heard of him before he worked for us. But now I'm not like a crazy NHL guy, so there's a lot of NHL guys I haven't heard of. So that's, again, not – but our world is fucking huge.
He agreed. So
why are we talking about this?
I don't know. We kind of just spiraled out through.
Oh, we were saying what
people
athletes,
you would do.
What athletes
yeah.
I would do, and is Whitney a podcaster or an athlete?
Mm-hmm. Good conversation, for sure. And I think, like you said, back to that, me just thinking, and I had it on my sheet last week, but I didn't bring it up. Just something hit me, in no disrespect to the other NFL podcasts we have, but Cutler and Olsen would be fucking tremendous.
I just don't get where you're getting Cutler from.
Just be solely because they were the guys who he turned Jay onto it, and that's how Jay did KFC Radio. That's how Jay had a relationship with Big Cat. That's how Jay was on Part of My Take. You know,
but he doesn't seem like an overly media friendly.
He was
guy.
going to do media before he went back to the Dolphins, but nothing ever happened. And he just did that reality show. And I know, but he's always in his duck blind and shit. So who knows? You're probably right. Moving on, the curators of Bespoke Post have done it again this winter with an all-new lineup of essential box of awesome collection for guys guaranteed to upgrade your life. I got one of these boxes, Dave. They're fucking sweet.
What'd you get?
So I got one. It's called a Weekender. It's like this nice fucking bag. It's pretty very stylish for a guy like me who needs this kind of shit to stay in the loop.
Add a little element of allure to you. It's
Correct.
Oh, who's Eddie?
Yeah.
Oh, look at that bag. He's got something.
Exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
So you what are you 20% off your first monthly box when you sign up at boxofawesome.com. Enter the code Dave, me. Check out boxofawesome.com, 20% off. And by the way, who doesn't like just getting gifts? Honestly, and I'm not saying Box of Awesome is probably awesome every month. If I get 1 out of 3 awesome and I open it, that's a win. Because I just like getting cool shit that you're not expecting.
Are you a subscription service guy? Do you like getting
I do
a
like
box
that.
of thing? Yeah.
Yeah. If you can find a great one, I'm a wine club guy, that type
Are
of
you?
shit. Oh, yeah.
Really?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, that's nice. Thai clubs and shit. It's pretty interesting. So, yeah, go do that. Boxofawesome.com.
Yeah, Thai clubs, I don't know that.
Enter code Dave. You don't wear a tie enough.
No, and it's I've been Thai and sock clubs, and they weren't quality enough for me.
You were in a sock club?
Yeah, sock club.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I don't, if my brain,
Dolce & Gabbana.
if they would do an underwear club, I'd be in it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That'd be huge.
Yep.
All right, so obviously.
Look like I'm snowing. Do I have dandruff? I don't know what's all over me.
You
Sometimes
got
I
the
get
beard dandruff? Yeah,
sometimes.
from the sushi.
No, that's mercury poisoning. I don't know what's going on here. Put some head and
So
shoulders.
besides the
on.
beard dandruff, what's going on with you? You're in Chicago. We're in the Barstool Chicago studios, and you had quite the reaction.
I gotta be.
So
What are you guys doing?
I'm going to try and tell you.
What the hell's going on?
This is it.
What do you mean this is it?
This is it.
We're in Farmers Insurance.
No.
Yeah.
I
We're a
know.
$20 billion company.
We're trying to
What
tell
are you
you.
doing? What are these guys doing? Are you serious? Eddie, for the people at home, I don't know, I've been living in a cave or something. These idiots are working out of a farmer's insurance office. Literally, the sign outside doesn't say Barstool Sports, Barstool Chicago. That's fine. It doesn't have to. You walk in, there's the most insurance-looking guy sitting at a desk, and I felt like I was interrupting him. It's sorry. This guy saw his eyes light up. He's like, a client? Am I going to sell some fucking insurance? What do you need? It's is this Barstool? He's like, oh, Barstool. You walk through the back, and there's a door that has looks like wrapping paper for a present stapled to the fucking door. I don't know. We are a large media company at this point. We've made it. There's no going back. Barstool's here to stay. You guys are working. I honestly, there's a video of it. I was taken aback. And it takes me a lot to be taken aback. They're working in a farmer's, it's like they're subletting a little room in a farmer's insurance office. What are you doing?
This is where...
And you're you knew it. It's I didn't know you were in a farmer's insurance. No, I knew you had a little office. I didn't know you were in the middle. Guys, you have to walk through the farmer's insurance office to get to this little door. What is happening? How is this in any world? Maybe If this was the Dave Portnoy Show, I owned it all. We're in Milton. Okay, maybe. Where we are today, have you had like real people in here being like, what are you guys doing?
Yeah, we had the GM of the Blackhawks sit right next to where you're sitting.
And was he like, what are you doing?
Everyone who comes in, BJ Armstrong was probably the other most famous person we've had here, and he actually liked it. He's like, don't change a thing. He's like, this is great.
All right, the room itself, once you're inside of it, outside of the heat, which seems to be rising
it's brutal
by the minute. Is there no way to control that?
No, we sweat our fucking balls off.
Okay,
here.
so if you were able to control the heat, it does have a vibe I like. The couch, the whatever, I can live with that. You can't walk through it. There's even Barstool. Do you have a mailbox?
No. It's just like you leave a package.
Like even us in Milton, we just had that little scribbled like Barstool Sports.
No, we don't.
It's Farmers Insurance. If I wasn't with somebody, I don't know that I ever would have footstep. You could have told me address 1,000 times. I just looked and be like, no, that's Farmers Insurance. I see the insurance team sitting there. There's no Eddie. I'd see him. He's a big dude. He's not there. I cannot believe you're working. Does anyone in this anyone in this office at any point be like, aren't you guys kind of like a big company now? Like,
no, I mean they're just.
No one's like, what are you doing subletting a shoebox?
Well, there are landlords, so the people you walk by, they're actually real estate, and then there's Farmers Insurance.
How much does this cost?
It costs us $1,000 a month. We have a room in the back too.
You're getting killed.
What do you mean? $1,000 back there with 2 rooms. So this is $550.
This room's $500.
This room's $550.
Do you know how much my whole office in Milton cost?
What was it?
$880.
Really? So yeah, we've been here for over 2 years.
Who picked this place?
I found it on Craigslist. Just because this is so. Our timeline, if you're familiar with Barstool Chicago, is we started with Redline Radio, and we just needed a place to record the podcast once a week. So we're like, all right, and I asked you at the last pizza review actually, because they were giving us guff about getting an office. We're like, hey, we can't keep dragging this recording shit to Carl's work or White Sox Dave's apartment. I was like, do you mind if we get this one little room in the back of a Farmer's Insurance for $450? You're like, yeah, do it. Go do it tomorrow. The thing is, it's a very much.
If it was made clear to me, and let's be honest, people can say to me, during this new office search, at any point have I mentioned budget? Or I'm just like, go get it. Haven't I?
We got some budget shut down.
From who?
I think Pete and Wajia. Yeah.
Pete?
Yeah. We did. Yeah, that's a fact.
What is Pete shutting?
Well, Pete's taking. It's not Pete's call. Pete's.
Well, you said Pete,
but he breaks the news to us. So I'll put it that way. So Pete's the.
There's no budget. There's no budgetary costs.
That's what. I mean.
No, I'm telling you. What I say goes. There is none.
Okay.
You guys are like, I don't, unless you're trying to get the Taj Mahal, which based on the fact you're working in a Farmers Insurance office, where when I tell you the heat is rising in here, it's rising.
Dude.
I don't cheap out on that stuff anymore. I haven't for a long time.
You talk about a lot of fucking man meat in this office.
This is crazy. I was stunned.
But this is where it feels
like embarrassing.
Dave, this is like
I get it's the vibe. It's old school. I would never step foot in here, not because I'm like, oh, it's embarrassing. I would never believe you're working on a Farmers Insurance office.
This is where it's like Varsity Blues. Remember the wide receiver who only had 4 touchdowns? He wanted a scholarship, and he's like, and Mox didn't know. He's like, I didn't know. He's like, I thought you knew, Mox. I thought you knew.
I've said that there's been so many things that maybe at times budgetary whatever gets shut down that I don't know, and then the second they get to my desk, they're approved. I'm not.
Can I be honest with you here, though, Dave? Here's the thing. It's very much in Barstool's culture to put your head down and not ask for shit.
Yeah. So I like that culture. I created that culture.
And we've done that for over 2 years,
right.
So it's just it was very much our mindset. We're like, hey, we want to be low.
No, I appreciate that, and I've created that, but it also gets to the point where you've earned to get out of here. Not to mention, Illinois is launching tomorrow. That's a big revenue stream. We need you guys to be fucking. Even the signage itself is like I could justify in my head that's an ad.
Yeah, and that's what they're talking about. We're supposed to be in a new place by summer, so I guess we'll see.
This place is crazy.
I'm just shocked that you didn't know it was like that.
I knew you guys are cramped, which again, I'm not as much the cramp. The heat's an issue. You're just we're working out of farmer's insurance. There's no other way to say it. You guys work in a farmer's insurance
You
office.
can't open this door.
I didn't know what that guy's going to. I thought he was going to yell at me, the insurance guy. Like, what are you guys doing? Like, I was looking at him like, what?
This is it, man. Literally, it's in 2018. We've been rolling with this. So
crazy.
Yeah, I know it's not. It doesn't necessarily matter to the conversation, but he is a real estate guy. But
what do you mean?
That's real estate.
It says Farmers Insurance.
I know that's Farmers is next door. There's 5 offices within this office.
He's not Farmers out there?
No, he's a real estate guy. So he's flipping houses and shit.
Let me tell you, Eddie. You ain't fucking running some multi-million-dollar real estate flipping business sitting in a Farmers Insurance outfit without your own sign on the wall.
I don't know, bro. That's not what they say. Didn't your boy Buffett, like, he made his millions by, like, bringing 119 to work every day to get a coffee, and that's what his budget was? Some people believe in that theory.
Would you ever hire a real if I was going out?
Like a choir band.
Well, I don't want him to fucking hear us. He's right outside.
You could.
But if I'm ever looking for a real estate agent to find me a place in fucking Nantucket or the Hamptons, I walk in and he's sitting under a Farmer's Insurance sign, I'm walking out. And then I see you fucking walk out for a coffee. Like, who's that guy? I am like, pass. I'm going to go to somebody who has his name on the door. I can promise you fucking that, Eddie.
Fair enough, but you're a different guy. You haven't flown fucking coach in about a year.
I'm just saying.
I know.
Anybody, so what's he doing? Like college real estate? He's flipping dorm rooms?
I don't think so. If I had to estimate, they're pretty successful.
Without their own office?
You want me to bring him in here?
Will he come in?
Yeah.
Has he been on before?
No, he never has, but I could ask him if you want. Well, he's usually pretty busy.
Ask him. I'd be like, we just have a question. Well, publicly, if you're if you're fucking flipping houses, why don't you get your own office?
Yeah, go ask Kareem. Yeah. It's like, hey, would you
look like you? Is this gonna be awkward?
Yeah, maybe, but it's okay.
You're gonna have to see this guy every day.
Yeah, exactly. Well, hopefully not much longer after you've seen this. While we wait for him, most guys have tried different ways to last longer in bed, but thinking about baseball, thinking about offices, thinking about Farmers Insurance doesn't always work. The folks at Roman, an online men's health company, is changing the game.
Worth more than me.
That would be something.
Get back to getting your dicks hard here with this read.
Lasting longer in bed.
Yeah, right. Dick's hard.
They do that too with getting your dicks hard.
Yeah. Well, you can't last longer in bed if your dick's hard.
Have you been swiping away in Miami or what?
Of course.
There you go. Roman swipes, clinically proven as a way to last longer in bed. They're effective, easy to use, and fast acting, but they don't require a prescription. Roman can ship swipes to you in discreet, unmarked packaging, and each swipe packet is small enough to hide in your wallet for whenever you need it. Go to GetRoman.com/Dave. You get your first month of swipes for just $5.
He didn't want it, right?
I couldn't ask him. He's like on the phone with someone important, she said. So
okay, so he's on the phone with someone.
It's important, some 18-year-old kid like moving into Wrigleyville.
I said I have a weird request, and then she's like, check back later.
All right. Go to GetRoman.com/Dave. First month of swipes is just $5 when you choose a monthly plan. That's GetRoman.com/Dave.
Honestly, if he does real estate, what could be more important than meeting with me? He can't be talking to somebody who can give him a bigger real estate deal than I can.
Oh, he's on the phone with the hospital. Sorry. Okay. Well, we'll keep continuing with the show. And then if he comes by, he comes by. We have this fired up to go when he comes in. Hopefully.
We have to pause for a second so I can turn his mic on.
Yeah. Okay.
He just fucking share with you. This guy doesn't mind sharing.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, clearly, that's an odd thing. Be like, that costs money, that one.
Good point. All right. So while we wait for that, we'll continue along here. Page 6, once again, Dave. Congratulations.
Yeah, I was on page 6. Girl's so hot, so it was a good look.
You were getting cozy, they said.
Yeah. I don't know what's going on with page 6. They're just following my every move.
They're obsessed with you, some would say.
Yeah, this was a good look. Oh, we're pulling it up.
There was like something about it. Yeah, there's an Instagram with you with her dog. Is this pretty serious? Is this her girlfriend?
No, we went on a boat. This I got railroaded. I'm watching a video right now, and I was walking out. She looks happy. I was walking out, and somebody's like, "Can you stay?" They have a sign for you. They bought, they bring like the signs, and they put my name on it. So it looked like I bought my own bottles and put my own name on the sign. Not a good look. But yeah, no, whatever. The same. We go through the same. Food God, I just had him on my podcast. We go through the same exact. I look like a supermodel in one of these pictures. It's the best picture I've ever taken. If you
the one with Food God or in the gray?
No. Scroll down. The dog.
With the dog?
Click on that. Not that one.
Did you post that or no?
No.
So she posted this?
Yeah, she asked me permission. I'm like, sure, I don't care. It's on her dog's Instagram. It's like the dog has like 100 followers.
But I would say it's like you're not letting every girl post that shit.
No, correct.
So it's a mixture of the picture and like a mixture of like you like this girl?
I do like her.
Yeah.
Yes.
But it's not your girlfriend?
No.
Okay.
We hung out like most of the time there. I've known her for a little bit. It wasn't like brand new. Have you seen her? She's fire. Yeah,
I did. I creeped in. So
it's a good look. But
she's very good looking girl.
Yeah, I don't know. I honestly don't know fucking why Page 6. I mean, because we're talking about it. So they put it in and then we talk about it. They get more press about it.
Did you guys see who the other person who follows her is that works at this company? Did you see that?
Yes.
No. Well, maybe, but Rico Bosco.
So Kareem just piped up here. It isn't on mic. If you didn't hear, he said there's one other person at the company who follows her. You heard Dave's guess was Gaz. It was not Gaz. It was who, Dave?
Rico? I didn't even know Rico had.
You didn't know he had Instagram? Looks like we can't find it.
I don't even know if she's private, so maybe he just wanted to look. I don't know. Whatever. It is what it is. I was kind of caught, like, this isn't new. Page 6 is a little bit new, but it for people who think I'm going out and doing, like, every time I'm out with a girl, every time it's somewhere. So I'm not going out nearly as much as people think because it literally is every single time.
So you're annoyed by it?
No, I'm not annoyed. It's the same thing that annoys me, which is, hand up. She saw her too, and I looked at a Reddit page. It shouldn't bother me, but it's like people just keep thinking. It's like they think I don't know. They're assholes on that page. Clearly, I think a lot of them are maybe a little bit jealous, which I guess I would be too. But it's like I'm not. This is a normal, like, outside me being older. It's like we just hang out because we like each other. It's not fucking. They make it sound like I'm a sugar daddy, which I'm just not.
I want to make that very clear too, that you're not a sugar daddy.
I'm not a sugar daddy.
There you go. Do you hate the last line that they always have to end these columns with?
Very much.
That fucking sucks.
Yeah, that they mention Renee's name. That does suck.
Did she ever hit you up about that?
No, I mean, it's been a long time now, clearly. Yeah. But we still stay in touch, and it's just, I'd rather that. That's the only reason I don't post shit.
Because you don't want that?
Like, you can go through. I'll repost one thing and one thing only. And it's the same thing every time. And I'll ask there, when I go to Dave Grutman's restaurants, and I'm friends with him. He never fucking charges me. He's been great to me. His business is and I'm well known now, is like, hey, if I'm introducing you to fucking David Beckham or I'm getting you a table 5 minutes before, it helps him, and that's part of the deal. Let people know you ate there. So that's it. But it's never a picture of like anything else. I haven't put girls on my fucking anything since maybe occasionally, maybe in 5 years, like once or twice. Hammy, I learned my lesson. I was a fucking idiot. She was everywhere. Since then, no.
And you don't do that out of respect to her?
Yes.
Okay. Is 2017, is that like a official?
What's 2017?
I think that's what it says, that you guys were married from 2009 to 2017 or something like that.
Oh, well, we're still technically married. Everyone knows that. Yeah, you didn't know that?
It was one of those things where I thought you were, but I wasn't positive.
We are still technically, but separated since 2016, 2017, something like that.
But yeah, I mean that blows. That every article it ends with that. So
it's like something that it sucks, but it's Barstool's given myself and her a lot a lot. And it is a downfall, but it comes, you can't do what I do to a degree and then complain about the other side of it. It all is part and parcel. Yeah, you don't have to like it all, but it is what it is.
Speaking of that, are you tired of people holding your pornographic films over your head?
I'm so loose with that shit. I don't know what I was fucking doing. I don't really care. Like, it's out, and there's so much shit out, and there's nothing I can do about it. And there was this recent one, and I found out the girl. I knew who the girl was. It's a girl that I knew, hooked up with, whatever. And I think she was being honest, like her phone was taken, because she showed me screenshots from weeks before this broke, like screaming at her friends, being like, what the fuck are you doing? So it wasn't made up. It is what it is. I don't really care. There's other elements. Kareem shot me one, actually. He's like, just so heads up that you prefer to not get out, but it is what it is. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
I'm just loose. You get drunk, you fucking shit-faced, you go home, a girl DMs me, I'm like, got to clean that up.
Yeah.
And a part of me is like, it's already all out there. So who fucking cares? People are sending my fucking dong to Brianna. That's wrong.
That's very
I apologize. I said, Brianna, you didn't sign up for this shit. I don't know why they were sending it to her.
Why are you making jack-off videos?
Eddie. I didn't jack off.
Oh, really? Okay.
But the dong and the face were together. I told you, we talked about it. I'm an open book. People, the people listening to the Dave Portnoy Show, when people are freaking out about the dong, they're like, do you listen to the Dave Portnoy Show? He says he slings dong. I'm on the record. I said I sling dong. Listen, you get shit-faced, get home, it's 3 a.m., girls are sending you shit, dong slides. It comes back to bite you a month later. It's like, oh, wait, what's that from? Oh, I remember that, kind of. Dong shot.
But I just wonder, you say that you...
How many dong shots? Who cares?
Yeah. Like people who are of your stature, like if they're doing the same shit.
I'm not paying attention to anybody else. I think most people probably have shit out there. But I don't know. I also... What makes me me and what has made Barstool and it's unique me is I don't give a fuck about like anything. I very rarely will apologize. Ooh, is this the...
Yeah, I think he's coming in.
Real estate agents?
It could be him. I'll see. Oh, sorry, no, it's a horror. We're missing.
Carl, enemy number one. What? Enemy number one, Carl. Thanks for that. But what are you guys doing in this farmer's insurance office?
Okay, so let's talk about Mack Weldon really quick here, Dave.
They got good shit. The sweatshirts I like. I believe I had a great pair of sweat shorts from them as well.
You like those?
Yeah.
What's you got the ad copy over there? I think you do.
We did that without knowing the ad copy, Eddie. That's how much I like them. For 20% off your first order, visit MackWeldon.com/Eddie. Why am I doing yours? Enter promo code Eddie. That's MackWeldon.com/Eddie. Promo code Eddie. 20% off. Reinventing men's basics. We already talked. We do love it. They Ace sweatpants and underwear for 20% off your order. What code?
Eddie. How do you spell it, Dave?
EDDIE. Visit MackWeldon.com. Code Eddie. 20% off your first order. URL promo code. MackWeldon.com/Eddie. MackWeldon.com/Eddie.
Thank you, Dave. Okay, some more stuff here. Buzz opening. Were you happy with it?
We opened on 2 very bad days. Stock market was down, but it's back. I don't know what it closed at today, but it was up a little bit. The issue I'm having, and it's not an issue, and I've tried to explain it. It's not Penn. Penn is a rocket ship, and that's something Dave Portnoy singularly controls. I invested in Buzz. It's the aggregate of 75 stocks. There's nothing I can say, do, anything that can change the price of Buzz. Buzz, you are betting on the internet. Wisdom is better than Wall Street wisdom, but it's not. You don't buy and sell it. You hold it for years, and it will beat the S&P. I believe that, but it's like more for somebody who's not watching the stock market all the day and day trading, all that. Somebody who has jobs and they want to buy something that they don't have to worry about super highs and lows, and it's relatively safe. That's what Buzz is. And
you're never ringing the bell on the floor again, right?
Correct. Those are the worst 2 days, like, ever. when I've done it.
And who you did credit someone with mushing it though. White Sox Dave, he was tweeting about it.
I knew once I saw that it was like Bronx Tale. Put mush in the put JoJo in the closet. It's like, how do I buy buzz? That I don't want that face looking at these dice, Johnny Coffee Cakes.
Put him in a bathroom.
Yeah.
Dan Crenshaw, what was up with that?
I don't know if Dan Crenshaw, he's a politician from Texas. I've done a podcast with him. I like him, nice enough guy. He's the one who lost the eye in combat. I don't know if he was getting investigated for insider trading or something, and he basically was like, I'm not insider trading. I'm just listening to what Dave Portnoy tells me to do. That's how I'm buying my stocks.
Crazy.
Which, by the way, is a wild endorsement of how good we're doing.
Crazy, but does that also kind of open up what people are saying about you?
No.
Like, who was Cuomo gave you a lot of shit? He's like, but people listen to you, man.
Yeah, and he's
People
making
listen.
he's making so much money. He's being investigated for how much he's making.
Yeah, but a fucking, what's he, a senator, he said?
Yeah, I think so.
Crenshaw, whatever he is, a big political figure.
Yeah, smart guy.
Is
Clearly.
listening to you. So
Smart.
what does that tell you, like some fucking Joe Jackoff 22-year-old?
Listen, Eddie, what I said is I believe in the power of people to make decisions for themselves. I never misrepresent who I am or what I do. But if you are a functioning human with a brain, I will leave it to you whether you'd like to invest in what I like. I will leave it to you whether you want to go play blackjack at a casino or bet on the Barstool Sportsbook or you want to enjoy a libation after work. You're a human being. You should be allowed to make decisions for yourself. Cuomo would rather hold your hand and tell you what's better for you. Oh.
Hey, Lyle, how you doing?
Okay, how are you?
We want to talk. We want to have a conversation here. Is this mic on?
Do you mind? We had a question.
You mind hopping on the mic for a little bit?
No problem.
Okay.
Okay, this is great.
This is our landlord, Lyle. That's safe to say?
Yeah.
Sorry.
Yes, it is.
So he was confused. He's like, oh, like what's going on? He thought you guys were the insurance people. I explained to him that you guys are the real estate people. And then what was your questions for him?
So, this is my first time in this office, and I almost didn't come in because it's like it looked like a farmer's insurance office. It's like I must be at the wrong place. As a real estate agency, it looks like you were the farmer's insurance guy. So you don't care about not having the sign on the window?
Well, we're really not a real estate agency, okay? We are developers.
Okay. So how do people... So, all right, developers. So what does that mean exactly?
Well, we own and manage property. We rehab and do new construction, so both commercially and residentially. So we do a little of everything, and just go by the name as being developers. Okay, instead
so you don't have a name of the company?
We're not a real estate agency.
Is there a name of the company?
There is a name of the company. Hood Development.
So are you guys like...
We're kind of low-keyed because we basically just take care of our own products, our own inventory. We're not looking for outside business.
And there it is. Okay, that makes more sense because quite frankly, what I was saying, and I misunderstood, it's like, well, if I'm looking for real estate, I don't know that I'm trusting the guys who don't have a name on their building. I'm like, you know, just like I wouldn't necessarily trust Eddie if I'm walking in and it's like Farmers Insurance and I'm wearing a little corn. So that was what confused me.
But everybody in here has a right to have advertisement on the windows. We don't really care, okay?
Eddie.
So
you want us to do that?
You wanted to put the name on the window?
No.
Because you're embarrassed?
Not embarrassed, but I don't.
It's advertising.
Yeah, but like not everyone loves us.
Most people like us, no?
I don't know. You just never know.
How have these guys been as tenants?
A couple years already.
Now, how have they been? Like,
how have they been?
Yeah.
Great.
So how did you guys... Oh, you said you found it on Craigslist. Yeah. So that doesn't sound like that's a core business of yours at all.
We're basically subleasing these private offices here.
Got it.
Okay, and you know, and we have some other businesses in here. Farmers Insurance just put a larger sign on the window. There's a lady here who's a CPA. She also has something on the window.
Got it.
You don't see it as clearly as the insurance. Everyone's name is over on the by the entry door, basically for the purposes of mail. Okay, but we're
So how many of your company is in this office?
Well, all our different our ownerships are different companies, and so they're all different names, and there's like a dozen
of your employees here.
No, you asked me about employees.
Yeah.
No. We have ownership in about a dozen different companies.
Got it.
And employees, we come and go in the office. We're not always here, and there's only 3 or 4 of us.
Got it. All right. That's interesting. I don't even know that I got any clarity exactly of what's going on. If there wasn't, if you weren't willing to come on the radio, it would sound like some sort of crime syndicate going on here. But I mean, I don't think Al Capone would come on the radio. So.
No, but we're really here to offer the convenience and the needs of the people who are leasing here.
Okay, all right. Well, I appreciate that.
Yeah, there you go.
All right, thank you.
You're
welcome.
welcome.
Appreciate it. Nice meeting you.
Same.
Okay. Thanks a lot. I think something's illegal going on. I didn't understand any of that.
I think he was being vague intentionally. I don't know.
Did you understand what he's talking about?
Yeah, I think he just finds property and he like rehabs it and shit.
So he just drives around like.
Yeah, that's to my knowledge, but they don't. I don't know exactly how to. That's what you think it is too, right?
Me?
Yeah.
I have no idea.
Did you listen to it? Like,
yeah.
I thought he had like 12 properties and they developed them like maybe from the ground up sort of thing. I don't. And then they're just leasing this because they own it too.
But do they own them all?
Right, but they're leasing this. Yeah. I don't know. I was just as confused as you guys were.
Well, welcome to our office.
I honestly, if he wasn't willing to come on the radio, I would have said there's something nefarious going on.
I don't think there is. He has all of his old houses. The pictures are all in the windows.
But
the houses that he's
why
flipped.
would you work like? If you're doing that well, why won't you get yourself like a nice office?
I don't know.
Okay.
I don't know. I saw Perk DM'd you. Anything with that?
No, I mean I love Perk. I fucking love Perk. So it was exciting. But we didn't get very far. He's like, I got some stuff coming up.
Then what's up with this Nardini Turning Group SPAC? SPAC?
Huh?
SPAC? Did you see that?
Oh, yeah, I did see that.
SPAC? Did I say that way wrong?
SPAC.
SPAC.
SPAC. That, it sounded like she joined with Peter Chernin, and they're going to be looking for companies to bring public. That's a super hot thing right now in the stock market, and you can make a shit ton of money if you do it correctly right now.
Okay. And that's like a totally
Side
different
venture, it
venture?
seemed like. Yeah, I'm not involved in it.
Did you know about it?
She maybe told me, but my awareness of it was when I read it, like everybody else.
So no worries, nothing like that?
No.
All right, well, good luck to them. Besides that, I don't know if you have the picture real quick. We're near the end here. This has been going a long one. The Ben Mintz picture, we got to put some shine on it. It was unbelievable. And by the looks of it, you didn't see it, but it was an all-time thank you, an all-time caption. And hold on, we're bringing it up here. I know this isn't great for the audio listeners, but if you're watching on YouTube, this will be interesting. There it is. The caption is "Feeling like a made man. Thank you, Stool Presidente. Viva la Stool."
Where is he?
I don't know, but he's got one girl's kissing. He's in New York. One girl's kissing him on the cheek, and he's got another girl in the picture.
Jerry Thornton 2.0.
What does that mean?
Jerry used to have pictures like this all the time back in the day.
Really?
Oh yeah. Jerry Thornton got kicked out of the white party.
I remember that one.
For having a naked girl dance on a table or something.
So it's Jerry Thornton. Like that's all we got.
No, Mincy's a nice guy. I mean, that picture is. I didn't have a super strong reaction to it.
Brandon Walker, Robbie were on wrestling AEW. Did you see that?
They're on that a lot.
Yeah.
Yeah,
that was
good
cool.
for them.
That was cool. All right, we'll do a couple email questions. We'll get out of here. This one's from listener Uncle Chaps, employee. Dave, I have an idea for you. Sleep podcast.
He told me about this.
Sleep podcast?
Yeah, he wants me to read it, like read Greeny's emails, to Greeny's blogs to put people to sleep.
That would be very fucking funny.
And it would work.
Because sleep ASMR is like a new thing, huh? Like everyone.
Well, it's like David Allen Boucher, Nighttime Magic. I mean, Greeny's blogs are so boring. So he's the boringest guy to ever do it.
He's our
high output, low impact guy.
He's our Celtics guy.
Oh yeah, in Colorado.
How often do you talk to Greeny?
Almost never.
When was the last time?
Probably it'd be like this headline: Celtics win game by 4.
All right, so that's where we're at with Greeny.
Maybe he's improved. I haven't checked him out that much lately, but he's a pretty boring guy.
If there was,
he makes vanilla seem exciting.
This would be a good podcast. So I think
just reading his blogs.
Yeah, and it probably wouldn't be only his, right?
I mean, let's listen.
Chaps, for the record, Chaps did not throw Greeny on the bus. He said the top 10 worst blogs of the week.
Oh no, he told me straight Greeny.
Oh, okay, I didn't get that information.
I thought. Then. Let's look. I'll see what Greeny's done recently. Is he still work for us? Oh, there we go. Greeny, 2 hours ago. There is more smoke surrounding Harrison Barnes potentially being traded to Boston. He's a Celtics guy, so whatever. Got one comment. My official second half goals for every Celtics on the roster. Paul Pierce is one step closer to becoming a first ballot Hall of Famer. Allen Robinson just stuffed Shams and Woj in a locker. The Warriors reportedly promised LaMelo Ball they would draft him only to, I don't know. He's, like I said, this is boring stuff. Kemba Walker currently looks so much better offensively. So what changed? These are some boring ass headlines.
But is it maybe you're just not interested in it? Or even if you were interested in it?
If Greeny was me when I started covering Boston sports, we wouldn't be here. We wouldn't exist.
Fair enough.
I mean, that's a fact.
Fair enough.
He's got the charisma of an ant.
This one's from Patrick. Can you walk us through?
Works hard, though.
He does work hard. This one's from Patrick. Can you walk us through your hair routine? What product do you use?
I just get it from my barber, put it in. It's really basic.
Comb or brush?
No.
What do you tell your barber?
What?
What do you tell your barber?
He gives me the same, hey, Bob. Yeah. I've been going since I moved to New York. He knows that I don't have to say anything.
You don't comb or brush your hair at all?
No.
You just throw it? Hand style. Okay. Last one from Mary. The birthday of the year happened this week. Could you explain to new listeners the history of Tim Cobbett's birthday?
So Tim Cobbett is a kid I went to elementary school with. And I suck at birthdays. I never remember birthdays. I never remember anybody's birthday. My parents, I'm just bad. Bad at birthdays. I forget my own. I never forget Tim Cobbett's, March 8th. I don't know why it stuck in my head, but it did. It's the only person I know when he's born. He has no connection to me anymore. I don't think I've talked to him in decades, but I know this. Tim Cobbett, he was born March 8th.
Happy birthday, Tim Cobbett.
Yeah, and I always give him a shout out. No
there
big
we
deal.
go. All right. I think that's it, Dave. Anything else?
That's it. I'm sweating.
We're going to get some air. Then go listen to Redline Radio because you're going to be on there. You're going to be talking about.
It's live.
What do you mean?
Redline Radio?
No. We're going to record it at 4:30. So we're going to record in a little bit so you can get some air. And go tune in. It's going to drop Thursday morning, same time as this podcast. So listen to that. We're going to talk about all the drama in the Chicago office. You can learn more about that. Besides that, thanks everybody for listening. That's it. That's all we got.
Great show.
See you next week. Great shows, right?